Hi guys, Debbie LaChusa, the business stylist, here with today's marketing Q&A. Today's question comes to us from a business consultant who's been in business for quite a while. But his question is, he wants to switch target audiences, sort of switch to helping a different type of client. He's been doing B2B. He wants to start helping entrepreneurs instead. And his question is, can you help me, point me in a direction, figure out how I switch? I think it's more than just a rebranding. I think I probably need to develop some new products and services as well. I can answer this question because been there, done that. Back in, I would say, around 2004, I was doing straight consulting with businesses, corporations, nonprofits, and it was definitely a B2B type audience, working with large clients. And very similar to this consultant, I decided I wanted to start working with other people like me, solo professionals, people who were coaches or consultants working out of their home and trying to get their own business up and running, because I felt like I had been doing that long enough that I saw that there were a lot of issues that I faced, and I understood marketing. And I knew there were a lot of other people out there like me that could benefit from what I had learned, and combined with my marketing experience, what I could teach them. But I was basically starting a brand new business. And this is the answer I would give to this questioner. You're basically starting a brand new business. Yes, it's more than a rebranding, because you are talking about different audience, different products and services, probably different outcomes. Everything is going to be different. So what I would do, and this is what I actually did, was I went ahead and I was running my consulting business, and on the side, so basically evenings and weekends, I started creating my second business, which was going to be working with entrepreneurs and solo professionals, just like this business owner is asking. So I actually kept the consulting business going because I needed that income, and I also had contracts with clients, so I couldn't just stop the work. But in my extra time, I started creating the new information products, the new coaching and training programs, the new business name, the new logo, the new brand, the new website, all of those things. And it took me, I think, probably about 6 months to get everything pulled together for that new business. And then I launched it. And I ran both of those businesses side by side for a couple of years, until the second business that I had started was generating enough consistent, regular income that I knew I could count on it. Because let's face it, when we launch a new business, we never really know if it's going to succeed. Even if we do everything right, sometimes we get lucky and sometimes we don't. You guys that have been following me for a long time know that I've had 8 different businesses, and only 3 of them were successful. 3 of them got to 6 figures. The other 5, well, I was at it for a while, and I either closed them or sold them because they just didn't take hold. And it just happens sometimes. So I recommend that you start it on the side, and yes, you're working a few extra hours, unless you can scale back on the first business to make time for creating the new business. And then do the new business for a while in tandem with the existing business to make sure that it's going to take, to make sure that it's producing regular, consistent income. And then once you know you can rely on that, you can start to phase out the old business. So what I did was, by the time I was getting close to the end of a contract year with my consulting clients, and I knew the new business, number one, I enjoyed it a whole lot more. I knew it was where I was going, and it was producing enough income on a regular basis for me to pay my bills and support myself. Then I ended up ending my contracts with those consulting clients and closing down that first consulting business. Now, I will tell you that was a difficult decision for me to make, because when I ended those contracts, it was about $60,000 a year in guaranteed income that I was just basically closing the door on. But I didn't want to do that work anymore. And the other business was up and running, and it was producing income, and I knew I just had to go for it with that new business. And I will tell you this, that when I closed the one door and committed to the second business, that was the year that I made 6 figures in the second business. Okay, but I was working my butt off. It didn't just happen, but it's because I freed up all that extra time that I had been spending on the consulting business, and I dedicated that time to continuing to build the new business, the one that I really wanted to keep doing moving forward. And it was successful. But I didn't close that first business until I knew the second one had taken hold, and I was confident that it was going to be successful, and that it just needed some more time and energy to really get it where I needed it to go. So I've done that a few times in my career. When I started my very first business, I was actually working in a job full-time in an advertising agency. And what I did was negotiate a part-time contract to keep working there. I think it was like go in a couple of days a week and manage one client. And then I was building my first consulting business, my home-based business, in the extra time. And I did the same thing there. I kept contracting with agencies until I knew my private consulting business that I was creating was going to keep generating sustainable, consistent income. And when that got to that point, I said goodbye to the agencies and I was completely on my own. So, I wrote a book years ago called The Career at Home Mom, and I talk about two different types of entrepreneurs. There's the straddlers, which is what I just described. I've always been a straddler. I keep one thing going and I start another one, and I don't let go of the first one until the second one is working and successful. But I interviewed a lot of people for that book who are really more what I call leapers, and they close one door and they jump into a new one and they just go for it. And most of them were successful, but I would say that's a personality type, a very risk-friendly personality type, or people who didn't rely on the income. In my instance, in both cases, I had a family to support. Yes, I have a husband, but we needed my income to continue to support the family, so I couldn't just leap and let go of all that income from my current job or current business. I had to straddle and get the second one going to make sure that we could pay our bills. It's also just not my nature to sort of dive into risk like that, and so I think it's a personality trait as well. So depending on your personality trait, depending on your financial situation and your financial responsibilities and obligations, you may choose to leap instead of straddle. But that's what I've done in the past. And you're right to circle back to this questioner. It is more than a rebranding. It is starting a whole new business. So I hope that answers your question. And if you have a question you'd like me to answer in an upcoming episode, send it to Debbie at thebizstylist.com. And maybe yours will be the next question I answer. Until then, take care.